Spacebar.
Whoa.
Back arrow.
All right.
Back arrow. Back arrow.
Hi everyone, this is Xyn Management.
All right, sorry about that. I don't use the Mac. I have no idea what I'm doing here, which is generally the case. I'm also very deprecating. So, but I'm not the CEO, so I feel good. So a couple of quick observations. First of all, my two previous presenters both dropped the F-bomb, so I feel pretty good about standing up here. I tend to do it myself, so I'll try to refrain. Also, the 5-minute window was not closely observed for both presenters. I timed them both, so I feel pretty good that I can squeeze mine out to 6 or 7 minutes, right? So my company is, we're called Xyn Management, and what we do is we have an online cloud-based application that helps hospitals, solid organ transplant programs, the place where you would go to get a kidney transplant, keep up with their outcomes and help them predict what the outcome will be for transplanting a given patient with a certain set of characteristics. The reason that we do that is that all transplant centers in the United States get a report card twice a year. Excuse me. Twice a year they get a report card. And this report card grades them on their outcomes. If they transplant 50-some patients, a certain number of those patients should survive and or not lose the kidney that they just received or liver or whatever. And if they fall below whatever that threshold is, they get into some serious trouble with Medicare and the federal government. If they get into trouble with CMS and or the federal government, they have to undergo a very rigorous and super expensive corrective action plan. And this is just a corrective action plan I robbed off the internet because it looked really complicated, but it's not necessarily what a center would get. So these corrective action plans, if they have poor report cards and have to enter into this corrective action plan, can cost the transplant center literally millions of dollars, anywhere between $3 and $10 million to implement, including any lost business that they'll get from insurance companies that basically say, you're in trouble, we're not sending our patients there, we're going to send them to the hospital on the other side of town. This is what the report card looks like that the federal government sends to the transplant centers. It's this, and it's about 40 pages long. So as you can imagine, I wish I knew how to blow this thing up, but it's just like you would expect a federal report card to look like. It's impossible to read, nobody really understands it, and it's just really kind of a mess. So what we do is we have a system that allows a transplant center to keep up with their report card in real time. They can know what their next 5, I wish I wasn't, I could blow this up, but next 5 report cards are going to look like if they came out today. We give the report card to them in a graphical format so that they can actually look at it and say, well, the blue line is below the yellow line, and that's good. We're doing well, right? If it goes the other way around here, then they can see that things are not maybe so good, okay? Everybody got it so far? And then we, based on the characteristics of the patients that they want to transplant, a 48-year-old white male with private insurance and a blood type of AB, whose BMI is 37, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, should survive 92% of the time. If the transplant center is sort of teetering on the edge of report card acceptability, they have to determine whether or not they're going to transplant a certain patient. So some of you may be thinking, wow, this almost sounds like healthcare rationing. Well, in a way it kind of is. There's a limited supply of organs out there. That's why you always hear donate your organs, donate your organs. There's a limited supply. And about 5 years ago, Medicare basically said we need to start cracking down and making sure that we're not transplanting people that really have not the best shot in the world to survive. We'd rather give that organ to somebody that's a better candidate. So basically, I have a little magic thing down here. So the way our system works is it's huge, huge statistics, which one of my business partners is a PhD statistician who specializes in biostatistics, and it's all back-end statistics. So through some magic, we're able to create these report cards and stuff. This is a screenshot of our application. Now, our business is up and running. We've been doing this. It might be a little bit of a stretch to say we're a startup, but it doesn't feel like we're grown up either. We've been doing this for about 1.5 years. We have about 15 current clients. We're profitable. We're paying our own way. We haven't received any investment yet, but we're in talks with several different companies right now. So this is the app that we have. So it's up and running, and we have paying clients, and everything is going well. So this is what we need. I'm going to take away Cole's question here. All right. We need statisticians, excuse me, that know how to write code. That's a tall order. It's hard to find those people. If you know anybody that might fit that grade, it needs to be not somebody that took some stats classes in college, but somebody who has a degree and preferably even a PhD in statistics. Because it's pretty high-end stuff that I don't have a clue about. And then we need some user interface designers. Our user interface is kind of boring, and really this is actually the best screen we have in our entire application. I'm not joking. We have some really, really smart programmers that are working for us, but I don't think they have a single bit of creativity in their body, right? They can make this stuff happen, but when I look at it, I'm like, wow, okay. And then we need some Apex programmers and SAS/R programmers. So the last two are statistics-heavy programming stuff. And that's it. That's my company. That's what we do. So I'm happy to take some questions. I get really nervous when I talk, so I'm sweating.
Yes, we have time for questions. I think they're going to switch laptops, but
yep.
Feel free to ask away.
Oh, no way. Is that a PC?
It's like
okay.
3 PCs put together.
Yes, sir.
Powerful. How did you find that niche?
So I'm the operations person on our team. My wife is the transplant director, the director of transplant at University Hospital here in town. And we have a partner who's a surgeon, we have a partner who is a statistician, and then we have a partner who's a kidney doctor. And so I'm the person that just kind of keeps the ball moving. All 4 of my partners still have their full-time jobs in the transplant center, and then there's myself, and we have 4 programmers and 5 other employees that work for us at this point. Yes, sir?
How do you do pricing?
Pricing is based on the size of the transplant center and the number of patients that they have on their waiting list. So it's a fairly large purchase for the center. It's anywhere between $50,000 and $150,000 a year for them to subscribe to our software. It's an online cloud-based thing, and they basically pay a monthly licensing fee. Yes, sir.
A while ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, I worked on a device that was the upgrade to the put your heart in a bag full of ice and rush it over to the nearest hospital.
Okay.
Do you take into account the survival rate, or is that one of the metrics, the device that they use during transport to see, okay, you use this, A unit, and you've got a 30% survival rate versus this B unit, which has an 80% survival rate. Does that go into the statistics?
Yeah. Yes. In a different sort of way. Basically anytime someone passes away and donates their organ, they have to go and recover that organ. And the amount of time that organ spends out of the body and either on ice or in a warm solution is a dependent factor as to how well the patient that gets that organ will survive it. It is one of the one of the risk factors that's involved in the predictive modeling. Yes, it's a good question. Yes, sir.
Just curious, how did you begin to just address and get your head wrapped around the data privacy elements you have to deal with, especially in healthcare?
Yeah, and that's a great question too, and that's why our entire application, the database portion of it, is built on Salesforce, if any of you are familiar with that platform, right? And they have their own, it's a very robust database that they have another wing of it that's called force.com. So we built it on Force, and the major reason that we went with that is that they have mega plug-in modules for security, logins, resetting passwords, all of that very, very sensitive and crucial stuff that we needed that was like right off the shelf, and we just had to build the user interface on top of the database, and all of that privacy and security stuff came built into our subscription to Force.
All right, that's it. Thanks.
If anybody's interested or anyone knows anybody, I wrote my email address over there, and I also have some business cards, and I'd love to talk to anybody that maybe you know somebody, a brother or something.
Are the jobs
Thanks.
remote?
What's that?
Are the jobs
Yes,
remote?
the jobs are remote. I'm the only person in San Antonio. All other 15 of us, including my partners, are literally in a different city all over the United States. So we're completely virtual and remote. Okay, thanks.